The day I married Emily, I thought I had found my forever partner. We weren't rich, but we had enough to build a peaceful life together. During the first year, everything seemed perfect until her mother, Linda, started visiting more often. At first, her comments sounded harmless, but soon every conversation turned into criticism aimed directly at me. According to her, I wasn't successful enough, ambitious enough, or worthy enough for her daughter. Emily laughed those remarks off in the beginning, yet slowly I noticed she had stopped defending me. I didn't realize then that someone else was quietly rewriting my marriage from shadows. Linda had one mission: convince Emily that she deserved someone better. Every family dinner became another opportunity for her to compare me with wealthy businessmen, lawyers, and executives whose wives supposedly lived like queens. Emily returned home after every visit acting colder than before. Small disagreements became full-blown arguments. She questioned my career, my decisions, and even my personality. The woman who once supported every dream I had now looked at me as though I had become her biggest disappointment. I tried counseling, vacations, and heartfelt conversations, but nothing could silence the poison constantly dripping into her ears. Months later, Emily casually announced that she had reconnected with an old college friend named Daniel. She insisted they were just catching up professionally and accused me of being insecure whenever I questioned the endless late-night messages. I wanted to trust my wife, so I ignored the uneasy feeling growing inside me. Yet every time her phone buzzed, she smiled in a way I hadn't seen in months. Linda encouraged the friendship openly, saying Daniel was successful, mature, and finally someone who understood Emily's potential. That sentence echoed in my head long after she said it. One rainy evening, I accidentally overheard a conversation Emily thought I couldn't hear. She was speaking to her mother in the kitchen while I worked upstairs. Linda laughed and said, "Once the divorce is final, Daniel will take care of everything." Emily didn't deny it. Instead, she quietly replied, "I know. I'm just waiting for the right moment." My heart stopped. It wasn't just emotional distance anymore. They had already planned my replacement before our marriage had even officially ended. I walked back upstairs without making a sound, but inside, something permanently changed. Instead of confronting Emily immediately, I started paying attention. I noticed hotel receipts hidden in her purse, deleted call logs, and mysterious weekend meetings that never matched the story she told me. I quietly gathered every piece of evidence, not because I wanted revenge, but because I refused to become a fool everyone laughed at afterward. Meanwhile, Emily acted increasingly confident. She argued over insignificant things, hoping I would eventually lose my temper and file for divorce first. She wanted to walk away looking innocent, while beginning a brand new life with Daniel waiting comfortably on the other side. Finally, one Sunday morning, Emily placed divorce papers on the dining table. She looked strangely relieved, almost excited. "We're no longer happy," she said calmly. "It's better for both of us." Linda sat beside her with folded arms, wearing the smile of someone celebrating a victory. I looked at both of them, signed every page without hesitation, and slid the papers back across the table. Their confident expressions instantly shifted into confusion. They expected begging, tears, or anger. Instead, I simply wished Emily happiness and quietly walked out, leaving both women wondering why I seemed completely unshaken. Neither Emily nor Linda realized that while they were busy planning their perfect future, I had uncovered something Daniel had carefully hidden from everyone. He wasn't the successful gentleman he claimed to be. He was drowning in debt, secretly dating another woman in a neighboring city, and desperately searching for someone financially stable to rescue him. Emily believed she was escaping into a dream life, but she was actually walking straight into a carefully disguised trap. I wasn't interested in revenge anymore. I only intended to reveal the truth before Daniel could destroy another life, including hers. The week after our divorce became official, Emily wasted no time moving forward. She believed every promise Daniel had whispered over the past several months. Linda proudly told relatives that her daughter had finally escaped an unhappy marriage and was about to start a wonderful new chapter. Neither of them knew that I had spent weeks quietly verifying every fact about Daniel's life. Public business records, social media posts, and conversations with people who knew him painted a completely different picture. The charming businessman Emily admired was actually living on borrowed money, hiding unpaid debts, and maintaining multiple relationships at the same time. The fantasy they had built together was already beginning to crack. Instead of exposing him publicly, I chose a calmer approach. I anonymously sent Daniel's longtime girlfriend copies of the messages, proving he had been planning a future with Emily while making identical promises to someone else. I also forwarded verified financial documents showing his unpaid loans and legal disputes. Within days, Daniel's carefully balanced double life collapsed. His girlfriend confronted him first, ending their relationship immediately. Then one of his business partners pulled out after learning about the hidden financial problems. Suddenly, the confident man who had promised Emily security found himself struggling just to protect his own reputation. Completely unaware of the storm, Emily arranged to meet Daniel for what she believed would be the beginning of their new life together. She arrived at the restaurant smiling, expecting celebration. Instead, she found him sitting alone with his phone ringing nonstop. His face looked pale, exhausted, and terrified. Before she could even sit down, another woman entered the restaurant demanding answers while accusing him of lying to everyone. The entire room fell silent as Daniel stumbled over his words. Emily watched the scene unfold in disbelief. The man she trusted couldn't even explain who truly belonged in his life. That evening, Emily returned to the apartment she had rented after our divorce. For the first time, she searched through old conversations, ignored warning signs, and replayed every argument we had ever had. She realized that almost every major disagreement between us had started shortly after one of Linda's conversations. Every doubt planted in her mind had slowly grown into certainty without real evidence. She finally understood that she had confused outside influence with her own judgment. By the time she admitted the truth to herself, the marriage she had thrown away was already part of her past, impossible to rewind. A few days later, Emily knocked on my front door. She looked nothing like the confident woman who had proudly handed me divorce papers. Her voice trembled as she admitted Daniel had disappeared after losing his relationships and financial support. She apologized for believing rumors instead of trusting the man who had stood beside her for years. She admitted that her mother's constant criticism had slowly changed the way she viewed me until she no longer recognized the difference between genuine concern and manipulation. Tears filled her eyes as she quietly asked whether we could possibly start over from the beginning. I listened respectfully without anger or satisfaction. I told Emily that forgiveness and reconciliation were not always the same thing. I had forgiven her weeks earlier because carrying bitterness would only damage my own future. But rebuilding trust after deliberate betrayal required something neither apologies nor regret could instantly restore. I wished her peace, encouraged her to rebuild her own life independently, and reminded her that every decision carries consequences. She nodded silently, understanding that some doors close forever, not because of hatred, but because respect, once destroyed repeatedly, cannot simply be recreated with words alone. As I closed the door behind her, I felt something I hadn't experienced in months. Peace. I hadn't destroyed Emily's future. I hadn't taken revenge or tried to humiliate anyone. I had simply revealed the truth before her backup relationship could become the escape plan she believed would solve every problem. In the end, her mother's hatred didn't ruin my life. It ruined her daughter's marriage and exposed a man waiting in the shadows. Emily walked away with painful lessons, while I walked forward with my dignity intact, knowing that honesty always outlasts deception, no matter how convincing a lie may seem.